Good evening, family, friends, and graduates. Welcome and thank you for joining us here for our baccalaureate ceremony as we celebrate the hard work and accomplishments of our seniors. My name is Elliot Matlock, your senior class secretary, and I will be one of your hosts this evening alongside my fellow senior officers. Tonight's ceremony will be filled with speeches and performances from our immensely talented senior class, as well as a message from our keynote speaker to commemorate and send off the class of 2026. So without further ado, please welcome our first speaker, Lauren Roach, to give her speech, Fulfillment.
Once upon a time, Charlie D'Amelio did a TikTok dance. We were children, and it marked an era in our lives that would soon open the floodgates to years of social development that now shape not only our daily habits of doom scroll, but also our diverse interactions as personable individuals. We have grown from freshman quarantine to the confines of the freshman quad, intimidated by the upperclassmen, to seniors falling ill to the infamous epidemic of senioritis, looking tenderly upon the class of 2029 whose shoes we were once in. And now we are finally crossing the finish line. As we gather here today, our presence in this auditorium marks the finish of what once consumed many of us for the past 4 years of our lives. It marks the vanishing of what was once familiar to us, soon to become a foreign concept that we will reminisce upon as we embark on our next trail. Anxiously checking Aries for score releases, racing to the hazardously crowded lunch line on Fridays for orange chicken, and receiving more specific evidence comments on Ms. Yarrow's time grades will soon be left at our trail markers to disseminate into our garden of memories as we continue in our next direction. We will no longer need the 6-digit ID that we have memorized by heart, the adjective and animal password combination that confused us in our elementary years, nor will we need the state SSID entered into our CASP login before the familiar soundcheck music played, echoing chaotically throughout the jittery classroom. And while this lengthy list of no longers serves as an intimidating reminder that this is an end of an era, it simultaneously marks the beauty of the new beginnings that await us in the next. As we venture into this new era of our life, many of us may be questioning how we can truly gauge purposeful fulfillment and success in our precious lives. I want to assure you that the answer to this cumbersome task is not at all black and white. The beauty of human fulfillment is that it can quite literally be found anywhere. It is a concept that has the potential to create a beautiful mosaic, artfully designed by the augmentation of personal joy. We are all members of the diverse human race, and with that, our versions of success and fulfillment will vary heavily from person to person, like Charlie and her TikTok dance. We are often taught that success and fulfillment and everything else of the sorts is clear-cut and unambiguous. However, success is ultimately defined by you. We should not let failure affect our perceptions of our capabilities to do great things for ourselves and for society. There will always be a plan for us. Our paths do not have to be linear, and neither should we strive for them to be. It is these complex obstacles in life that shape us into well-rounded, insightful individuals. They provide us perspective, allow us to embrace humility, and model us into constantly changing characters. With every mistake, we must surely be learning, and it is these mistakes that ultimately complement our personal character, give us anthologies of stories to tell, and leave us with newfound wisdom that is everlasting. My grandmother has always told me that success is doing what you can do well, and doing well whatever you do. Our versions of success can differ radically from our peers. However, if we are truly passionate and capable of doing something that will drive us to personal fulfillment, that is the true meaning of success. Perspectives will always differ, opinions may ebb and flow like ocean currents, and ideas will always come and go. And this may cause us disorientation in mapping our path. But that's okay. This mustn't discourage us. Rather, it should inspire us to continue to journey along our paths, to continue to push ourselves towards our unanimous goal of personal fulfillment. And now, as we draw closer to crossing this graduation stage on June 3rd, I have one final message to you. I implore you to be the change that you wish to see in this world, the change that you wish to live through as you exit adolescence and venture into adulthood, the change that you wish for your children to live through as they grow into inspired and nuanced individuals much like yourselves, the change that you wish your parents or your grandparents could have lived through when they were your age. You have the unique opportunity in power as the up-and-coming generation to impact the world and its functions, to shape your lenses and vistas, to alter its order, and to instill hope into future generations. As former Secretary of State Madeleine Albright once said, "What people have the capacity to choose, they have the ability to change." You have the capacity to choose what you want to see in your life, in this world, and by doing so, it is in your hands to make that change. So do it. Engage civically. Vote, speak up, laugh, cry, apply for that opportunity, apply yourself. Be creative, embrace yourselves, embrace others, because in the end, our time together is short. Do not dwell on the past with regret. Do not squander your energy on things out of your control. Do not let your roadblocks define you. Be present in the time that we have to seek fulfillment, to create impact, to grasp your version of success. Be cognizant of the fact that you have control over your own destiny, your journey. And now, as our next journey across the graduation stage nears, I leave you with one final quote from George Harrison's 2001 Yahoo Live chat: "Be good, little souls." Thank you, and congratulations to the class of 2026.
Thank you, Lauren. Next up, for our first performance, please welcome Ethan Kwok, Rumi Dewan, Ashley Fox, and Vaughn Kerigma with their performance of Farewell Transmission.
The whole place is dark. Every light on the side of the town. Suddenly it all went down. Now we will all be brothers of the fossil fire of the sun. Now we will all be sisters of the fossil fire of the moon. Someone must have set them up. Now they'll be working in the cold grey rock. Now they'll be working in the hot mill steam. Now they'll be working in the concrete. In the sirens and the silences now, all the great set apart, all at once start to be. After tonight, if you don't want this to be a secret out of the past, I will resurrect it. I'll have a good go at it. I'll streak his blood across my beak, dust my feathers with his ash, feel his ghost breathing down my back. I will try, and know whatever I try, I will be gone, but not forever. Come on, let's try, and know whatever I try, I will be gone, but not forever. The real truth about it is, we're all supposed to try. The real truth about it is, we're all supposed to try. There ain't no end to the sands I've been trying to cross. The real truth about it is, my kind of life's no better off if it's got the map, or if it's lost. We will try, and know whatever I try, we will be gone, but not forever. Come on, let's try, and know whatever I try, we will be gone, but not forever. The real truth about it is, there ain't no end to the desert I'll cross. I've really known it all along. Mama, here comes midnight with the dead moon and its joys. Must be the big star about to fall. Mama, here comes midnight with the dead moon and its joys. Must be the big star about to fall. Long dark blues, will-o'-the-wisp. Long dark blues, will-o'-the-wisp. Through the static and distance, farewell transmission. Listen. Long dark blues. Listen. Long dark blues. Listen. Long dark blues. Listen.
Thank you for that lovely performance, Ethan, Rumi, Ashley, and Vaughn. Now, please give a warm welcome to our next speaker, Jesse Lee, with his speech, Have a Good Day.
Let me begin by telling you all a fun fact. Only 30% of people make their bed in the morning, habitually. So take a look to your right and take a look to your left, and chances are, if you don't make your bed, which you probably don't, only one of those people made theirs this morning. Keep that in mind. I keenly remember the first day of high school, entering my first classes here. I was walking up the stairs to the biology building, and Mr. Long was standing in his doorway, handing out playing cards to assign seats. I got the Queen of Hearts. But little did I know that in that moment, a new stage of my life had begun. And not only was it a change for me, it was also a large moment for 400 other people as well, the 400 of us. And starting from that seat in biomed, I would make lifelong friends, and so would everyone else sitting in their first period of high school ever. Little did we know that we were making memories and not just presentations. For many of us, that moment felt like yesterday, and for an equal amount of others, it feels like decades ago. But no matter the scale at which you remember high school, remember that it is only 4 years of your life. And these 4 years have shaped you in a special way. Of course, in between that time of first taking the card and standing here today, I've made many, many mistakes. You almost certainly have too. But we've learned from those mistakes. Each person you've met, each encounter you've had, each test you skipped, each party you went to, and each choice you made had a hand in shaping the clay that you are. All that in just 4 years. So I ask you now to look your freshman self in the eyes. Imagine standing face to face with who you were 4 years ago. What would you tell them? I know what I would have said. I would have told him to take all those risks he was too scared to take. I would have told him to not fear dreaming big. But alas, the only reason I know to tell him those things was because he failed to do so the first time around. But let's not spend this time living in the past. Let's look forward. Imagine what we can learn from another good 50 years of failure. And if there was one thing I want us to take into those 50 years, it is to not wait. Don't wait for those opportunities to come to you. Go get them. Don't wait till tomorrow to get started on that project you've always dreamed of. Don't wait to do something just because you are afraid of failing. Would you tell yourself to wait for tomorrow? So maybe that's why you should make your bed. Fixing a messy bed from this morning tomorrow won't do you any good today. And as Admiral McRaven said in his speech to UT grads, maybe you should make your bed so that even if you have a miserable day, you at least come home to a made bed. The made bed sets the floor for the lowest possible day you could have, just a little bit higher, which you'll definitely need from all that failure you'll experience in those next 50 years. But what's even more useful about making your bed is that small sense of pride you get from simply doing it, from simply getting started. I think all of us know that the hardest part about doing anything is often getting started. That's why half of us were studying for AP exams the week before and not doing the IRP until the night before. Sorry, Miss Yarrow. The act of making the bed is the catalyst for the start of the day. And hopefully that small sense of satisfaction, seeing your bed made, encourages you to go get ready, go make a healthy breakfast, and then head out instead of scrolling on your phone. And all of a sudden, just from making your bed, you're off to a great start to your day. And then by having that great start to your day, you feel invigorated and ready to work hard. You dive deep and take pride in your work, whether that is practicing sports, playing music, doing a new coding project, or a workshop build. And maybe one day, by having a great start to your day, you feel inspired to take a risk, to start something new, start something big, even if you are afraid of failure sometimes. And by having multiple great starts to your day, you feel inspired to start making new habits, form new friendships, start new journeys or adventures. And by consistently having good days, you're always ready. And perhaps by chance, one day, you get lucky. Because you had a great start to your day, you strive and are ready to take the fullest advantage of whatever opportunity just came to you, instead of just waiting for something to happen. And this happens day by day, week by week, month by month, and year by year. And all of a sudden, after 50 short years, just from making your bed every day, you have lived a beautiful life. And now remember, even if you don't have a great day, perhaps you fail that test, you make a mistake, a big presentation at work falls through, a friend is mad at you. Even if instead you have a day filled with failure, which is really just a day of learning, you at least come home to a made bed, which inspires you to work hard again tomorrow. So just think about it. Only 30% of people make their bed in the morning. Think of the jump you can have in life just by adding one small, tiny detail. You put yourself in such a great position just by making your bed. The journey of the rest of your life begins today. The greatest opportunity you will ever have is the one right in front of you right now. Remember what I said about opportunities? Don't wait. And if you haven't figured it out by now, this isn't really about making your bed in the morning, though I hope some of you have been inspired to make your bed. It's about doing the small things in life, because doing the small things right helps you do the big things right. Thank you.
Thank you, Jesse, for that amazing speech. Unfortunately, our next performer is unable to join us this evening. With that being said, we are going to move on to our next speaker, Adelaide Bertolina, giving her speech, Advice for Incoming Freshmen.
Hi, everyone. My name's Adelaide. If you don't know me, I've had the privilege of serving as your class president for the first 3 years of high school, and I'm also the voice you hear on the PA at the beginning of each week. Whether you know me well or not at all, one thing is true for all of us tonight. In just 3 days, we'll officially be done with high school. It's surreal standing here looking out at so many familiar faces. I see my best friends, classmates I've known for most of my life, and people I may have only shared a class or a hallway with. But somehow, we all became a part of each other's story. Without even realizing it, we practically grew up together. From our first Friday night lights to our final school dances, we learned together, stressed together, laughed together, and probably cried together too. And now, somehow, we've become the seniors, the people younger students look up to for advice. I feel like with this time ahead of us, there has been a constant cycle of new questions headed our way. No longer is it, what AP classes are you planning on taking? But instead, what are your plans after high school? I have found there are also some common questions I have been asked, some of which I would now like to answer today, almost as a way to reflect on these past 4 years here at South Pasadena High School. One question I get asked a lot is, what's something you wish you knew as a freshman? My answer is always the same. You do not need to have everything figured out. For the longest time, I felt like I had to do everything perfectly, take every hard class, join every activity, and have my whole future planned out. Whenever I was hit with a bump in the road, for some reason, my immediate thought was, I'm a failure. Looking back now, frankly, that seems pretty silly, but I soon realized that most people feel the same way. We put so much pressure on ourselves to have everything figured out at 14, 15, 16 years old, and honestly, that's impossible. What I've learned is that one bad grade, one rejection, or one missed opportunity does not define your future. Rejection is redirection. Things work out their way they're supposed to, and you don't need to carry the weight of the world just to meet others' expectations. Another question I get asked is, what advice would you give to incoming freshmen? I would say, experience everything, and be yourself, and be kind, and stop worrying so much about what everyone else thinks, because the truth is, most people are too busy worrying about themselves to judge you anyway. My sophomore year, I buried myself in schoolwork, sports, and extracurriculars. I stayed up until 2 a.m. doing homework and convinced myself that if I just had the perfect grades, everything would be okay. But junior year, I realized I didn't want high school to pass me by like that. I started saying yes to more experiences, meeting new people, and actually enjoying life a little more. And yes, maybe my GPA dropped a little, but I became happier. I learned that high school isn't only about grades and college applications. It's also about the people you meet, the memories you make, and the moments you never expected to matter so much. So to all the future freshmen, I say, try everything, in moderation, of course. Don't let the pressure of the future miss you out on your teenage years. These pieces of advice that I have learned and lived through, I carry with me now as I start this new chapter of my life. And now, in 3 days, we graduate. After June 3rd, most of us become freshmen all over again, which means, if you haven't caught on yet, maybe all this advice for future freshmen is really advice for us too. So wherever life takes you next, give yourself some grace. You do not have to have your whole life figured out right now. Take the class that scares you, meet new people, try new things, learn, love, and live fully. Now, before I leave, I want to leave you with a quote from one of my favorite books and movies. Something I feel like sums up these final bittersweet moments we have left. I know these will all become stories someday, and our pictures will become old photographs, and we will all become somebody's mom or dad. But right now, these moments are not stories. This is happening. And in this moment, I swear, we are infinite. Congrats, everyone, we did it.
Thank you, Adelaide. Now, I would like to introduce our keynote speaker, Mr. Terry Madigan. Terry Madigan has been a volunteer member of the Pasadena Tournament of Roses Association since 1993 and currently serves as the association's president, overseeing the 138th Rose Parade and the 113th Rose Bowl game on January 1st, 2027. Terry was appointed a committee chair in 2010 and a director in 2013. He has served as chair for the special events, host, judging, and parade operations committees. Terry served as vice chair for the float entries and post-parade committees and as a committee member on community relations, decorating places, equestrian, formation, parade operations, post-parade, and TV and radio. Terry is also a retired personal chef and owner of Just No Time, a personal chef service. Before turning his passions for cooking into a full-time profession, he had a career in healthcare marketing and communications. Terry is a sixth-generation Californian and grew up in the San Gabriel Valley. He resides in the wonderful South Pasadena. While attending South Pasadena High School, he operated the South Pasadena float in the Rose Parade twice. Terry graduated with a Bachelor of Arts in Political Science and Communications from the University of Southern California, and later graduated from the California School of Culinary Arts with a diploma in Le Cordon Bleu Culinary Arts. So without further ado, please welcome up Terry Madigan.
Good afternoon, everyone. So I do feel a little less than when I walked in the room because I did not make my bed this morning. And I have to admit, this is the first time I've been back in this room in 40 years. And some things have not changed. Some things have not changed. So good afternoon and congratulations to the South Pasadena High School class of 2026. As was mentioned, my name is Terry Madigan. I'm a proud graduate of South Pasadena, class of 1982. Yes, the school did exist in 1982. I'm a 34-year member of the Pasadena Tournament of Roses Association, and as was mentioned, I'm privileged to serve as president overseeing the 2027 Rose Parade and Rose Bowl game. When I was first asked to speak to you today, I was urged to be inspirational and provide some advice, neither of which I would consider to be core competencies. And it seemed a bit presumptuous for me to give you advice, not knowing you, and knowing that you live in a very challenging and a changing world. So rather, what I wanted to do was to provide some advice to the 17-year-old me, who was sitting in those seats a little over 40 years ago. I've learned a little bit in those 40 years, and yes, I've made a few mistakes. My plan is to tell you about my journey from graduating senior at South Pasadena High School to a proud alumnus. It's only a matter of about 20 feet, but it's been a long journey. And along the way, I'm going to provide some advice and guidance that I believe would have been helpful to me had I heard it when I was sitting in your seats all those decades ago. Now, while I stand here today as a leader of the Tournament of Roses, a much beloved and world-renowned organization, that was neither the plan nor the expectation, particularly when I was sitting in this auditorium all those years ago. In high school, I would not have considered myself to be a leader by a traditional definition. I was not the captain of the swimming or water polo teams. I was not interested in leading a club or running for ASB. I thought of myself as a son, brother, friend, student, swimmer, and a volunteer with the South Pasadena Tournament of Roses. When I was 15, I walked onto the lot where they were building the Rose Parade float for South Pasadena and asked how I could get involved. I loved it. It was one of the first times in my life when I can look back and say that I found my people. I learned how to weld, apply chicken wire, and foam and decorate the float. And as was mentioned, I even drove the float in 2 rose parades, the first time, frankly, before I even had a driver's license. No one knew I was tall. I was tall, had long hair. I had a rockin' mustache at that point in my life, too. I didn't realize until much later that that was actually my first and very formative leadership experience. When I left South Pasadena, my plan did not go much further than knowing I had space in the freshman class at USC in the fall. Now here's the first piece of advice I would have given myself. Don't feel like you are less than or a failure just because you don't have all the answers when you walk across that stage next week. No one is expecting that of you. I can only speak to myself, but my life has been an ongoing process of exploration, trial and error, trying new things and identifying what I'm good at, what I like, and most importantly, what I don't like to do. For me, my path has been more like putting together a puzzle than following a predetermined plan or roadmap. The puzzle pieces I had when I left high school were simply the frame of the puzzle. I didn't really have much of an idea as to what the picture was or would be within that frame. Now let me pause here for the parents in the room and assure you that while this may sound like the story of a ne'er-do-well who rides the rails with a knapsack, it is not. I've done quite well for myself despite this seemingly unfocused beginning, so please bear with me for just a few minutes. My next piece of advice to myself is to remember the importance of being flexible and being open to change and unexpected opportunities. Despite our plans, our best laid plans, life rarely goes as planned. In September of 1982, I started at USC as an undecided liberal arts major. In other words, no discernible job prospects. I enjoyed the variety of classes I took my first year: political science, anthropology, oceanography, English, Spanish, but I was really just bouncing around until I happened to see an article in the Daily Trojan newspaper about a volunteer recruitment group run through the admissions department. Up until that point, I was not much of a joiner, and frankly, to this day, I don't know what interested me, but I applied regardless. That single decision to apply for that program changed my life and provided me with the focus I had been looking for. My next piece of advice to myself: be brave and be curious. Learn to be more comfortable trying new things and living in the unknown. If I had not tried new things and continually tested the boundaries of my comfort level, I would really have never understood my potential and what truly motivates me. As a student admissions representative, I enjoyed the public speaking component, the chance to meet new prospective students, and talk about the university that I had grown to love. Many of the skills I began to acquire during this volunteer program led me directly to where I stand today. One evening, I spoke with one of the staff members, and she recommended that I look into public relations, something I had never considered. By the end of that semester, I was enrolled in the journalism school with an emphasis in public relations and a dual major in political science. I never looked back. My sophomore year, I applied to be a summer orientation advisor and was one of 14 individuals selected out of more than 100 applications. Again, I found my people. By my junior year, I joined the year-round staff of orientation programs supervising the incoming class of advisors. 40 years later, I'm still in contact with all my fellow advisors, the director of the program, and her assistant director. These are lifelong friends that I would have never had I not taken that jump. After graduation, I took a job as a small real estate newspaper in downtown Los Angeles as the wire editor. I continued to refine my writing skills, and when a colleague at the paper took a job at a public relations firm, I joined him. In the interest of time, let me quickly summarize the high points of the next 25 years of my life. I handled publicity and special events for one of the country's largest Scotch whiskey brands. When our primary client left the company, we lost the account and I was fired. While I was scared and frankly devastated, looking back, that was one of the best things that ever happened to me. As I considered my life and career, I wish I would have been able to tell myself at that point that you will learn far more about yourself, not through your victories, but through your challenges and your defeats. It's easy to win at everything. It's hard to pick yourself up and move on, move forward. Sometimes it's best to be forced to make change, take a chance you might otherwise not have been able to or willing to take. The change that I took, or the chance that I took, was that I formed a small public relations firm with a friend of mine who had also been fired from the same company, and ultimately went on my own. After transitioning to healthcare, I consulted in marketing and communications department for regional HMO. Next, I moved to the country's largest Medicare HMO, where ultimately served as the vice president of marketing and product management. After a midlife crisis, I left healthcare and was pursued my love of cooking. I went to culinary school and spent the next 15 years working as a personal chef. Again, a totally unexpected turn in my life. I was able to retire just before COVID at the end of 2019. And by the end of my career, I had produced award-winning promotional campaigns, led a product team spread across more than a half dozen states, oversaw a marketing organization with a $20 million annual budget, directed more than 50 employees, and ultimately ran a small business. Throughout the years, I continued to gather puzzle pieces. I could now add publicist, writer, event planner, entrepreneur, strategic partner, and finally recognize myself as a bona fide leader. All that started in this room. All that started in this high school. All that started where you're sitting today. None of it, not a bit of it, was planned. Many of the strengths today, that I have today, go directly back to the time working on the South Pasadena float and volunteering in college. Yet despite all that success, I spent much of my years suffering from a case of imposter syndrome. I was working alongside individuals with advanced degrees from some of the country's top universities. I had neither an advanced degree nor, frankly, any type of a business degree. What I had, and still have, is common sense, a strong work ethic, a generally friendly disposition, and the ability to work well in a team environment. Which leads me to my next piece of advice. People will invest time, attention, and patience in someone they like and enjoy working with. If you are smart, work hard, are humble, and can be an enjoyable part of a work team, people will help mentor and educate you. It might take a little more time, but the skills will come. Now let me address my time with the Tournament of Roses. After all, that's why I was invited to be here tonight, and why I'm wearing this bright red jacket. A few years out of college, I returned to South Pasadena and remembered how much I enjoyed my time with the Rose Parade. I joined the Tournament of Roses and again found my people. I've spent 34 years growing with that organization and have never regretted my decision to join the tournament. I learned a very different set of skills within the Tournament of Roses. Managing a large team of volunteers is very different than managing employees. Employees are first motivated by the security of a paycheck and a career. Volunteers, on the other hand, are motivated by a myriad of personal reasons: passion, friendships, shared vision, recognition, a sense of purpose, and most importantly, the joy of being part of something far bigger than yourself. All of these are among the reasons I have stayed involved and engaged with the Tournament of Roses now for more than 3 decades. This leads to the 3 pieces of advice I wish someone had given me when I started, and I still give this advice to new leaders in the Tournament of Roses today. 1, if you want to lead someone, first, understand their motivation. If you can fulfill that need, they will be dedicated, loyal, and an engaged member of your team. Second, lead by example. No leader worth their salt should ever ask someone to do something that they have not previously done or would not be willing to do themselves. This is such an important point, I'm going to repeat it. A real leader is never above getting their hands dirty, and nothing is more demoralizing to a team than having a leader that feels that the real work is somehow beneath them. Third, if you can't or don't trust the members of your team, you have the wrong team. Or perhaps you are the wrong leader for that team. A leader demonstrates trust by delegating responsibility and authority to their team. I often remind leaders there's a difference between delegation and abdication. Delegation is a manifestation of trust. I'm here if you need me, ask questions if you have them, but I trust you enough to know you can get and will get the task done. Abdication, on the other hand, says that I'm willing to stand by and watch you flounder and fail because I don't value you enough to get engaged. You are not worthy of my time or attention. Just go figure it out. I've continued to work on my puzzle, finding new pieces, some that fit, others that didn't, and the picture of my life continued to fill in. Despite that, there are still some pieces missing. Part of the picture was just not complete. That began to change in my late 20s, when I came to terms with the fact I had avoided up to that point in my life. I'm a gay man. Ultimately, I met and fell in love with a wonderful man, my husband Kevin, who is with me here tonight, and we have now been together for 32 years. My next piece of advice to myself is don't judge yourself for obvious realizations that only come later in life. Realize that some parts of yourself only become clear when you are ready and able to accept them. Build a family, by birth or by choice, around yourself that you can trust will support you regardless of who you are or what you become. So I could add a couple more pieces to the puzzle. Husband, leader in the LGBTQ community, and the first openly gay president in the 138-year history of the Pasadena Tournament of Roses Association. Finally, I had a clear vision of the picture made up of all the various puzzle pieces. I also had a clear vision of who I am. No secrets, no mystery. What you see is what you get. Every day in the Tournament of Roses, I lead people doing hard things. We're not curing cancer or making the world safer, but we're taking a group of volunteers and putting on what is arguably the world's most popular parade. While it may simply be putting on a parade in a football game, I've come to realize that what we do is important. For a few hours on New Year's Day, families can gather and generations can marvel at the beauty and majesty of the Rose Parade and cheer on the history, tradition, and pageantry of the granddaddy of them all, the Rose Bowl game. There are few events left in the world that can entertain and bring together generations of family. I could not be any more proud of the role I fill or the team I lead. As president, my first responsibility is to determine the theme for the Tournament of Roses. At its surface, this year's theme is very simple. In fact, it's only one word. And yet for me, that word has very deep significance, And I think it can have a little bit of added significance for you at this point in your lives. This year's theme is simply welcome. The theme celebrates the simple joy of belonging. I often speak about the transformational power of belonging. It speaks to finding the place and people that bring you comfort and joy. That might be a physical place like home, or simply a place that feels like home. For many of you, the last 4 years here at South Pasadena High School may have felt like your second home. It's the warmth of family, whether chosen or given. It's finding the group of people who provide you with support, comfort, and most importantly, a sense of purpose. It's about that group of friends that ultimately become your family. The values behind this year's theme are core to who I am as a person and as a leader. Meet people where they are and ensure that there is always enough room at the table. Regardless of who you are or where you come from, understand there is a role for everyone. When I first sat down and began working on these remarks, I tried to identify the most inspirational people in my life. Over the course of this year, Kevin and I will have the chance to visit all 22 bands in the parade and meet the more than 5,000 students marching in the upcoming Rose Parade. I am continually impressed at their dedication, work ethic, and focus on team over individual. I've learned that some of the best educators and motivators I know are high school and college band directors. So I asked a number of my friends across the country for pieces of advice to share with you tonight. In closing, as you enter this world, I would like to pass along some of those pieces that I received from those favorite band directors. And I really do wish that I had been able to take some of this advice and heard this when I was your age. You miss 100% of the shots you don't take. Follow your heart rather than your head. In a world that so often focuses on the bad, be the good. Try not to become a person of success, but rather try to become a person of value. Dare to be different. Those people that have the courage to authentically be themselves are the ones who will ultimately be the most successful because they are the most interesting. You, each of you, are worthy. Be human. What makes human beings special is our ability to feel emotions and evoke emotions in others. Be present, be passionate, and have love and compassion for each other. And probably the timeliest piece of advice, thinking about what you're going through right now, are the words of Dr. Seuss. Don't be sad it's over. Be glad it happened. Thank you for the distinct honor of being with you this evening, and congratulations to the class of 2026. Go Tigers!
Thank you so much, Mr. Madigan. Now for our final performance, please welcome Andres Urzua, Joshua Shuttlecorp, Rumi Dewan, and Bono Stevens once again performing Don't Worry, Be Happy.
Here's a little song I wrote. You might want to sing it note for note. Don't worry. Be happy. In every life we have some trouble. When you worry, you make it double. Don't worry. Be happy. Don't worry. Be happy. Ain't got no place to lay your head. Somebody came and took your bed. Don't worry. Be happy. The landlord say your rent is late, and oh, we may have to litigate. Don't worry. Be happy. Don't worry. Ain't got no cash, ain't got no style, ain't got no gal to make you smile. Just don't worry. Be happy. 'Cause when you worry, your face will frown, and that will bring everybody down. Don't bring everybody down. Be happy. Look at me, I'm happy. Now there is this song that somebody else wrote. I hope you learned it note for note. We've been good little children, good little souls. Be happy. Listen to what I say in your life. You expect some trouble. When you worry, you make it double. Don't worry. Be happy. It's been a pleasure. Be happy.
Thank you to Andres, Josh, Bono, and Rumi. That was the perfect way to end our ceremony. Tonight has been a special one. As we sit here together, I can feel the talent, energy, hard work, and warmth that we all carry with us. To our performers and speakers, thank you for sharing your hearts with us. To Mr. Madigan, your words of wisdom will carry us into the next steps of our life. And to our friends and family, the ones that make this happen, thank you for the endless hours you put into our lives. It is because of you that we're here today. We've now closed a huge chapter in our lives, but that doesn't mean our friendships, passions, and aspirations have concluded. Through all the great things we go on to do in our lives, just remember, we'll always be South Pasadena Tigers. Parents, please wait for the seniors to exit through the glass doors before joining them. Seniors, after the alma mater, please follow flower chains to the reception on the Tiger patio. Ladies and gentlemen, and graduates, please stand for the alma mater